What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is Mike LaBelle. Welcome back to the playbook. Today, we open up a big lane of back and forth around this new patch. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to give you my 10 major takeaways. And it's got to be said, I like the direction we were heading in prior to this patch. We knew that a patch was coming. I'm not saying it wasn't necessary. There were some clear problems, issues, concerns, frequencies that needed to be shifted, but this is a major overhaul. Number one, AI defending is back. We knew that EA was going to shift something. It always happens, but interception, pressure play, jockeying, everything is more AI associated, helped, situated. It's just AI everywhere in many circumstances. And I don't say this lightly. I'm not here to scare you, but the AI will be more effective than you actually moving your players. That hurts my heart to say out loud. As an old school FIFA connoisseur, now into the FC realm, I wanted to leave AI defending behind us. And the way that this game released, it was different, it was unique. You did not have a lot of additional benefits. People were conceding. You had to relearn defending. It has shifted, it has reverted. Number two, and partially due to the AI defending and some of the passing and concerns with that passing, wing offense has become more prominent than ever. I'm not saying that it wasn't a functionality previously, but now you might be dependent because you can't find space in the middle of the pitch. You're going to notice that you feel surrounded at all times, and that's because the AI and the automated movements and the way that they situate, they take away a lot of the middle of the pitch naturally, organically. Therefore, you're forced to orchestrate down the wings, and it's killed some of the variety with attack. The meta now has reduced options comparatively to before. Number three, and I already teased it, this game now reminds me of FIFA 22. Now, that could be a positive or a negative for you. It wasn't one of my favorite installments, but in many ways, I'm thinking, I'm screaming, I'm yelling, I'm shouting, I'm playing live. Twitch.tv/Mike LaBelle. And we're all agreeing this is a FIFA 22 reunion-esque type of energy in the air. An ambiance. Not necessarily an ambiance that I want to revert back toward. I guarantee when you graduated from high school, you didn't go back to your high school. It's likely it was the same for you in college unless you went to a sporting affair, some sort of matchup or a fixture. Number four, RNG bounces. Random number generator bounce. Bounce backs, mishaps, bounces in your favor, bounces that go against you. I'm seeing a lot more of them. I think it's undeniable. It has to be talked about. And when I make a list, it's not all about negatives or positives, it's just what I noticed, what I observed, and then you can interpret it how you will. But it's worth us discussing as a team. And if you have not subscribed, that would be highly appreciated. This is a brand spanking new channel. Number five, the speed of play and the tempo are much quicker. The way that players are moving, how they're pushing forward, how they're tracking back, everything felt as if the game sped up, and it's noticeable. I will say this, the initial release of FC 24 for many would be considered rather slow. And if the connection was no good, you're losing out on a lot of the reactiveness. I was there, I understand. This is definitely more responsive, faster play, quicker tempo. Which leads me into number six, the gameplay is more responsive. You asked for that. You're talking about servers. You want quicker passing, faster movement, quicker turns, especially with some of the left stick. It's funny, somehow the left stick, maybe even the R1 has gotten more responsive, but it's not more effective. And that might sound weird on camera, but that's how I feel. I'm doing all sorts of different maneuvers and turns and switching of the pitch and intricacies with some of the passes, but it's not getting me farther along. I'm not beating the defense with ease. I'm not having those types of moments or responses or conversations. I'm not phoning home to the boys to talk about a lot of the razzle and the dazzle, but the gameplay is more responsive. It is quicker. Number seven, goalkeepers are much more active. And I would say, generally speaking, they're better. Inside the box, they're making more saves. They don't fall down as quickly. If you recall, pre-patch, goalkeepers were non-existent in many regards. Long shots, they're not stopping it. Inside the box, forget about it. 1v1s, you had an absolute array of different skills or touches that you could use to walk it around the goalkeeper every single time. The consistency of making that goalkeeper fall down was uncanny. Number 8, skill moves. They execute way quicker. You can do them on the fly. Again, more responsive. And I'm going to double down. More responsive, but not more effective. How is that possible? And it's just simply because EA turned up the AI defense and they're on the juice. They intercept, they get in the way, they make tackles, they take up space. Even the containing, it's so difficult to beat. I find myself now doing 3 or 4 skill moves to try to create a lane of space. And even though it's possible for me to do those skills, in the pre-patch, I could do 1 quick turn and the defender might be out of it, which in many ways felt a little more realistic. Going up against an opposition, I was also getting a reward for putting in more time in the grind, understanding how the game worked, and then adjusting to some of the defensive displacement, how to move, how to groove. The new intangibles I could get a grasp of, and then I could co-sign. Number 9, and you're gonna hate me. You're not gonna wanna hear this news. Bus drivers are back and they're in business better than ever. They might have taken off a month or so to get everything underway, but it's in full effect. And I'd predict now that this is going to be the three-peat of tactics that we're going to see that are extremely effective. And I'm happy to predict on record, this will be the rotation of what we see throughout weekend leagues and division rivals at decent levels. Is you're going to have an initial counter press. There's going to be a high press, but defenders recover faster than they did previously. So after that counter press, if your opposition does not get the ball off you, they're then going to park the bus. They're going to sit everyone in deep, play more passively, wait for a mistake, an error of a pass, a tackle, an interception, a block, something along those lines. Then they're going to boost everyone forward on a counter attack, and they're going to keep that on repeat. So it's counter attack. If they score, that's not good for you. If they lose the ball, you're going to get a counter press. If you beat the counter press, they're going to park the bus and track back. And then whenever they regain possession, counterattack. A lot going on in that scenario, but that's what I'm predicting is going to happen. And at number 10, if you like long shooting, Travellas, finesse shots, that's still here. That's strong. That did not leave the game. Some of the execution looks a little bit different. You can still hit the back corner, upper 90. The light's still on. You're green lit to make this happen. So again, I bring up the question or questions. How do you feel about the patch? What would you have shifted? Is it a good shift? Is it a bad shift? This is just my opinion. Sometimes I represent the micro. In fact, many of the times I'm within the community that wants everything to be as manual as possible. I'm leaning towards the pros. And when I look at this patch, it just makes me think that we're reverting. EA might have felt some of the pressure of people complaining about learning how to defend or struggling with defending. And we've seen this at the start of every single year. And that's why we need the initial patch, not only to address actual issues, because we did have actual issues, but it also goes above and beyond and almost always makes defending easier. I cannot think of a patch that was in that first few weeks of a launch that made defending more difficult, which just tells me that Reddit and social media and maybe the larger base of the community is complaining that they're struggling with defending. So that's why I open up the floor, use the comments. There's gonna be a couple of videos on screen. Let me know your thoughts with the new patch. We can go back and forth. Overall, I'm disappointed because I like the direction we were going in previously. It felt different. It felt unique. It felt like a new game, a new experience. And whether you loved it or you hated it, I think you could respect that EA was trying to build towards something that we had not seen previously. Those are my takes, and I have a lot more content coming out ASAP.